Okay, so today I will be discussing all the technical chemistry related stuff in the video of Chemistry Adventures with Henry and Toby. Now, first off, we talk about the periodic table, which we barely go into detail with that. Now, just for you to know, there was 118 elements on that periodic table, each of them having a different element number, and each of them being able to cause a different thing. There was solids, gases, and liquids on there. So, and another interesting fact: if you go all the way down to the bottom left, that is the most explosive, and if you go up to the top right, those are very, very non-explosive. Alright, at the point where I was laying down and watering the plants, there was actually a thing for that. That's a chemical reaction. You might know this as photosynthesis, but this is where pretty much the plants use that water in order to get the sunlight, to get the energy that they need to make the food. Here, I'll put in a little bit more of a descriptive tone. In general outline and in effect, photosynthesis is the opposite of cellular respiration, in which glucose and other compounds are oxidized to produce carbon dioxide and water, to release chemical energy, and exothermic reaction to drive the organism's metabolism. So in that, there was two different things. There was chemical reaction and, well, I guess it kind of is two different things, and exothermic reaction. So now every time you look around, you see a plant, now you know. In the scene where we dissolve the syrup into the water, that's called a solution. I don't know if you knew that, but here, let's go into a little bit more detail. A simple solution is basically two substances that are evenly mixed together. One of them is called the solute. The other is the solvent. A solute is the substance to be dissolved, which is, for instance, the sugar or the syrup that I drank and almost threw up. The solvent is the one doing the dissolving, so the hard work of the water, that was great. Alright, so that's about it with that, except that there was another reaction though, another thing I should have said. Now, whenever all the sugar went to the bottom, that's called supersaturated, which I'll describe that. Supersaturation is a state of the solution that contains more of the dissolvent material than could be dissolved by the solvent under normal circumstances. It can also refer to a vapor of a compound that it has a higher pressure than the vapor pressure of that compound. Now you know. There is also saturated and unsaturated. Unsaturated is, well, you put stuff in there and it can hold way more, and saturated is, well, you put in just the right amount and it cannot hold any more or any less. Now, when Henry was describing the soap, there was a lot of elements in soap, and he just did not realize that he was describing something completely different, and I don't know what was up with him, but let's just describe some of the elements in soap. One of them is, of course, the hydrogen and oxygen, which makes up water. That's pretty simple. Another one is sodium, and then there's also hydroxide. That's one of the nice ones. There's fatty acids in there. There's, of course, carbon, stuff like that. Sodium, and there was also potassium. So next time you wash your hands, just know that they're helping you out. A lot of elements in soap, and he just did not realize that he was describing something completely different, and I don't know what was up with him, but let's just describe some of the elements in soap. One of them is, of course, the hydrogen and oxygen, which makes up water. That's pretty simple. Another one is sodium, and then there's also hydroxide. That's one of the nice ones. There's fatty acids in there. There's, of course, carbon, stuff like that. Sodium, and there was also potassium. So next time you wash your hands, in the video, when carbon dioxide is shaken, the bottle expands, showing that the carbon has been expanded into the bottle. Whenever you open it, you can see all that carbon dioxide and the drink itself start fizzing up and going up to the top and wanting to escape. This is because the carbon has built up such a pressure that it just expands into such a little area that it could, in fact, blow up. This is due to pressure, kind of like how earlier Henry was talking about the tiles, how actually tiles, if you put too much air in it, whenever it gets hot on a sunny day, the air expands, and then when it expands, it will pop the tile. So that's why you always want to keep your tile pressure a little bit lower than it is supposed to. Just keep that in mind. Now, I hope all of this has cleared some things up. I've hoped that you learned more chemistry than you may wish or desire to. I understand that this wasn't funny, but you know what's not funny? Bad grades. Those aren't funny, and I need a good one. So, sorry about that, but I hope you learned a lot today, and just remember, if you're burning off a sandwich, that's chemical reaction. I didn't want to say that, but it is. It's chemical reaction. I can't deny the fact. So that is, and throwing up is, having no friends might be, I don't know. Anyway, and you have a great day.